You're on the Six Screens Telenetwork, earning the reputation of giving all the right ingredients, uninhibited in exposing the hard, cold facts about the Watchtower Society. And now, in Disney.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome in once again to another Saturday night here on the Six Screens. Yes, we have live programming all night long and into the wee hours of the morning. And we have a man coming in from the United Kingdom. He's a former Jehovah's Witness. His name is Roland Smith. And we're going to bring him right on. He has a program called Returning to Light. Bringing Roland on now. Hello, Roland.
Hello, Rick. How's things over there in the USA?
Oh, things are really good. We, of course, in our winter season here, but so far so good. We are in January. Normally it's freezing cold out there, but it's been really nice. I hear it's that way in England too.
Yeah, it's not too bad actually. I think it's freezing a little bit tonight, but yeah, it's not too bad at all. It's been quite good, especially up here in the north of the UK, which is very cold usually, but compared to the rest of it. But yes, it's been okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been really nice. Well, anyways, you have got a guest coming on here tonight. His name is Albert, and he's quite the guy, and he wanted to tell his story. So I'm going to cut you guys loose, and Albert's on with you. So, Roland, I'm here if you need me, and we're looking forward to the program. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Rick. Hello, Albert. Are you there?
Yes, Roland.
All right, just give me a minute. I'm just going to introduce you. I mean, I think we remember from last week that on Anne-Marie's show, Touched by the Tentacles, you came on to be a guest. She had a really good show, and there was a lot of people commenting and speaking up. So it cut your time down a little bit. So what I thought we'd do, Albert, would be to start from the beginning again, and if you just go through your story step by step. You've got an hour. We've got over an hour. So if you can just go slowly, step by step, and I'll just stop you occasionally and ask you questions. I'll start you off by asking. So I remember from last week you said that when you was young you was put into a home. Is that correct?
Yes, that was correct. So about the age of 6, 7, we were put in an orphanage, which was upstate New York, Peekskill, New York. So we were taken from the city. Our parents they couldn't handle us, and I think my mother had postpartum, because there was 5 of us. You got 5 kids, and she had them in 3 years and 9 months because I'm a twin. So anyway, we went there. We tried going back and forth to New York to some aunts and uncles, but there was more abuse, not sexual, but physical. So the state of New York said, no, forget it. Just let's keep them here at the home. So my 4 brothers, the brother and my 3 other brothers were sent to St. Joseph's Home, and we ranged from the age of 6, 7, 8, and we were put there, and that's where it started. But it started around 19, so I was 10, either late 69 and 70, where the St. Joseph's Home, which is in upstate New York, started hiring counselors and young people, the college people. So they hired a couple older gentlemen, and they gave them full reign. I mean, they were able to do whatever they want. And I'm going to tell you something, Roland. It was
carry on.
And I didn't even realize it's. My therapist is helping. She's saying this is exactly what happens to people who put that situation in their brain, and they just go on with life. I have a beautiful family. They're beautiful. I have 4 grandkids. And we just had a gathering last night. It's beautiful, and so that part of my life I'm getting done. I mean, it's getting. But
so you when you're in this home and you're being abused by these counsellors, was it? Did you say?
Yeah, it was. Well, there was 3 counselors. There was several involved.
Right.
Yeah, but there was this one counselor who took a real liking to me and my twin.
Right.
And they gave him permission. I went to camping trips with him. I remember incidents in a tent. I remember he'd take us home. I went and revisited these places. The hair on my neck stood up. I saw where he used to take us to his mother's house in the Bronx, New York. And then for years, this guy was just, he
Basically grooming him.
And what part, Roland, I look, you see the pictures of me. I have pictures of when I was there. He's always around. He's there.
Yeah. And can I ask, did he sort of say things to you like, you know, if you said anything about it, or did you say anything about it, come to that? If you did he say things like, you know, that people wouldn't believe you or things like that? Is, you know, I'm trying to sort of chain together here how these people work, and, you know, because obviously we're talking about it later it happened in the congregation. So I want to sort of piece together how these people work and how they get children to do that sort of thing and keep quiet about it, what sort of threats they make, that type of thing. Did they make any threats to you, or was it just purely that he treated you well?
That's exactly right. You have the two, right? You have the one that doesn't, you know, doesn't use finesse, and this is what they do. They groom, you know. And then I'm thinking he's the best. He's a good friend, you know. We were very timid. We were small fry. Everything that he needed us to be, we were. We didn't talk. We were nervous. We were wedbetters. We were. You name it. Everything, and you could just see. I look at my pictures and I say to myself, "My God, it didn't even look happy." I did sports. I loved sports, so I did that. But I almost looked at him. No, he didn't use force. He didn't use force with me. Even this is the part that my therapist is trying to help me with, is to get the bad part out. We have to get that out of my head. So, and the incidents in the camping trips is where the horrific things happened to me there. I'm able to, you know, there was things going on. I mean,
yeah. I mean, you don't have to go into detail. I'm just trying to piece together. Obviously, I know this must be very difficult for you to recap on, and I appreciate the fact that you're even talking about it at all. So just, you know, whatever you feel comfortable with saying, say. But otherwise, you know, yeah, I'm not forcing anything from you. Just, you know, just be aware. You know, you're amongst friends, though. All right, carry on. Sorry.
That help. Yeah, bro. Let me tell you, Mike. This is helping me. Yeah, I don't go grab, but this is helpful. But he took advantage of us being abandoned, scared. I didn't know anything. We were, you know, me and my twin brother. He just took advantage. And it's funny, the things I remember when I first saw the picture, when I was reaching out to the orphanage people that help men and have their own families. They showed me the picture of him, and Roland, I had to go. I was in a dark place, and I believe that a lot of people would have committed suicide, maybe, or jump off a bridge. You know, I love my family so much that would never, ever, ever happen. My therapist, there's no way in God's green earth that I would take my life and leave my family. I'm fighting tooth and nail with them, and to get them back, you know, like the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But anyway, so when some of the home, so what happened was, then the molestation stopped, because what happened was, I think they figured it out, because we got a statement from one of the counselors back then, and he noticed. He said, you know, one of the counselors had children pornography, so he could put that in a statement. And then he said, yeah, there was things going on, but they got rid of them. They just, I believe they got rid of them. But by then, the St. Joseph's said, let's start putting these kids out in the community. And they picked 8 boys first. And me and my 3 siblings were selected. They said, let's get them out of this organization type thing, and let's just institutionalize. Let's put them in a group home in the community. Now, sure, the community, some people had, you know, you have 8 kids here. What do we do? But it worked out. We were able to go to regular schools, doing things, and no abuse there. They were usually young couples There were young couples. So
Yeah.
now my abuse already happened. Now he was stalking. We have pictures. I have statements from him said that he was actually watching us in the elementary school.
Sorry. Who was watching you? I didn't quite catch. Who was it that was watching you?
My abuser.
Oh, sorry. Right. Yeah. I assumed that's who you meant, but I just wanted to make sure that was what you meant. Yeah. Carry on.
Yeah. My abuser was watching us, and some people. So, but he never got to us. I mean, you know. And then what happened was, you know, we and then the parents of the group home that was taking care of me and my brothers and the 4 other kids were ready to leave, and they wanted to adopt us. So they took us in.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. They said, you guys, they loved us. They took all 4 of us in. Now, my older brother, didn't want to live up there because they lived up in the mountains in New York, and it was nothing to do. And, you know, young people, because I ended up going too because it wasn't just my thing. But they took us in.
Yeah.
So, and you know, Roland, I think they really knew you're not going to take 4. The mother, she was a beautiful person. She didn't like to see anybody hurt. She was always an activist against abuse. And she says, I want to take those boys with me. And we were, you know, great people. I went to regular high school. I ended up playing in John Jay High School upstate. I was doing well. Got in a little trouble like teenagers do, but not a lot. And she took us in. And then, you know, what? After that, I joined the Army because I got in a little trouble. So the judge said, do you want to go to jail, or do you want to go to the recruiter over there? I said, I'll take the recruiter. It was nothing, but you know, it was all dismissed. Nothing bad.
Yeah, well,
when I joined the Army,
a lot of people sort of have issues like that. You know, it's not a big thing, and obviously the Army did you some good.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, yes. It put discipline. I was scared. There was nobody. Remember now, I had nothing.
Yeah. And did it give you a chance to get some of the anger out that you probably had towards the abusers? I mean, being in the Army, do you think that helped as well?
Yes, it did. Especially too, I signed up. I don't know why I did this. When I met the recruiter right after court, I said, I don't want to leave the United States. So give me an assignment if you can, please. And he says, well, I know what you can do, and you'll stay. You'll be stationed in North Carolina. He said, go 82nd Airborne. I said, oh, shoot, that's fun. Boy, I could kill that guy now. I mean, you know, jumping out of a plane, but I did it. And it did much. I needed that so bad, and it helped. Yes, it helped.
Right, great stuff. Yeah. So then you joined the police, I believe.
Yes. So
yeah. When was that?
The Army. Yes, they're Washington D.C. at the time, because you know where I live now, it's the metropolitan area. So you got D.C.'s in the middle, then you got Virginia and Maryland. So I lived. This is where I lived, and so when they were recruiting, there was a shortage of Spanish-speaking officers. So here I am coming out, fresh out of the Army, you know, clean cut.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so they go after you, right? They yeah, you want to? I said, I'd love to help people. Then come on, I'll do it. If I can do the Army, I'll do this. So they hired me. But one thing they didn't know, that I didn't speak it as good as I thought, or they thought. So, but I got in. You know, I got in. I went to the academy. I did well, and I loved it. I loved being out in the streets, man. It was a rush. And the main thing was that I'm going to be now I have the ability to put bad people. I'm not talking about shoplifters or somebody smoking a little marijuana. I'm talking about these predators.
Yeah.
I knew that's why I joined. I said this is the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah, and when you if you don't mind me asking, first of all, let's ask when did you meet your wife?
And when I was in the police department, it was my first year.
Right. Okay. And obviously you got married soon after.
Right. Well, okay, this is what it was. When I was patrolling, she actually went to Howard University there. She was studying to be a physician assistant.
Right.
And, I met her, so we had a relationship. And then I said, you could stay at because my home now was right down the street from the precinct.
Mm-hmm.
I had to walk too much. So I said, you stay there if you want, because her college was in Washington, D.C. So it worked out. And then she wasn't a Jehovah's Witness then. She was, we were just young, but I fell in love with her, and we and then she decided I think she wanted to go further in medical school, be a doctor, but she said, no, we're going to have a family, so I'll just do PA, which is just as good. I mean, she did well for herself. She's good to go. So we're married now, and we're having a house, and we're starting a family, and we have 2 kids. And so the Jehovah's Witnesses started knocking on the door. But what it was her sister was a Jehovah's Witness. Her sister. That's how she found out about the Jehovah's Witness organization. And then when this sister was consistent, a regular sister, pioneer sister, kept knocking on the door. She did a study. Now, I was still in the police department. I was probably in my last 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't bother me. I said, sure, you can, continue, whatever you guys want to do. But, I was still in uniform, still carrying a gun. And, and I went from there. And what happened was that, I love my wife so much. I said, I went in because of her first.
Mm.
I went in because of her. I didn't go in because I believed this crap. I figured, what's the harm? You reading the Bible? You learning about God? What's the harm?
Yeah.
Now that when I retired, it's even better. That's when I did my baptism. I said, I got baptized, and then my gun and badge was gone. I'm no longer a police officer. I don't have police powers, and I felt, I can still help people. It's still something I can do to help people, and that felt just as good. And we had the resources because we're making good money then, so we were able to go to do the what do they call that when you go to different lands where the need is greater or something.
Oh yeah, missionary work. Yeah.
Right. And when I went to my own country where my parents were born in Puerto Rico, my God, it was beautiful. And we met friends. The rank and file, they're good people. They mean well. They have a heart of gold. And I miss them. They can't call me. I haven't talked to none of them. It's been 3 years and they haven't even talked to me. And I don't blame them. I'm not blaming them. That they're taught to do that. That's something the organization.
But Can I just take you back to the police department bit again, because I'm going to bring this into how the JWs at work and everything in a bit. Now, obviously, you've been a policeman and you've pulled other paedophiles in, nothing to do with the JWs, just in general. You've pulled probably paedophiles in, and you've arrested them. You've gone through the process of taking them to court, etc. And also, you'll have interviewed the victims, and obviously with the JWs, they'll pull a victim into the back of the room. They'll have however many elders there, plus the perpetrator, the accused in there. She or he has to go through everything that happened to them, and literally everything, while the perpetrator's still in there. Now, I assume that the police are a bit more empathetic than that and would be horrified by that. So how would the police go about interviewing a victim?
Well, good question. What we do is, like, being a patrol officer, I wasn't a detective. I was in the street. I love people. I mean, that's my whole thing. I'm a people person. So when I get a case like that, let's say I get a case, I've had a case where I get there and the guy he fell asleep and he was, that guy woke up with a headache, by the way. So what happened now, we have to give that to a detective. We give that case. We can still be the arresting officer, but so I really wasn't hands-on with that. But when it comes to ask, because there are certain people that deal with that, know what questions to ask, and especially to the victim. And so we would hand that off to a detective who pretty much dealt with. We had our own little section, as they call it, for with these cases.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine though you'd find that horrific, wouldn't you? Sort of the idea of a victim being pulled in front of a group of men to do, especially if it's a female, to describe, well, anything, really, male or female, but to describe everything in detail, wouldn't you? I mean, and the fact that they use the two witness rule to protect the paedophiles, that must really enrage you, doesn't it, as a police officer, an ex-police officer, a retired police officer?
Oh.
And that's one of the reasons I think you left, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, well, that and I think, well, I had a couple critical incidents, so they were kind of like nudging me out. I had a couple critical incidents with bad critical incidents, and they said, I got promoted. I was a sergeant and moved to the real bad area. I was a real bad area, and they gave me, as you say, an honorable discharge. They said, Sergeant Zutch, you did well. We appreciate your help. We're going to give you. I said, just make my pension nice, because this is all I got. And they did, and they said, thank you for your help. And I left in good standing. I mean, I left. They hated to see me go, because they said if we had half, all our guys, these people, some of them are lazy. That's any job. They don't really want to work. They're afraid, and especially now, go out there, because they're going to be, subject to interrogation if they pull out their weapon and all this other stuff. So, I would say that that was a lot of it too, because I wanted to stay in a way, but that didn't really hit me then as much as it hit me when I joined the organization, as far as finding out. That's when everything surfaced.
Yeah.
That got bad.
Yeah, and I mean, as an abuse victim yourself in the past, and having worked in the police, and then seeing it within the congregation, and the fact that it was hidden, I mean, that must have really upset you. I mean, it must have really set things off inside you, surely.
Roland, I was ready to leave my wife. I went away because I got an apartment, and it was just bothering me so much that this is so visible. It's there. How do you not see this as a human being? I mean, what do you need? I've been doing research. I got 27 men that I looked up that been, these are facts. I deal with facts. When you come to Joseph, you have to deal with facts.
Yeah.
That 14 were elders. They were molesting kids, 70s, 80s, 90s, and they're just coming to light. And each single one of these men said they confessed to the organization. Think of that, Roland.
I know. And that's just the ones that they've caught. That's just the ones we know about. I mean, there's a lot more than that, because there's been many kids, many families even shunned simply because they've gone against the organisation, gone against the Kingdom Hall, and they've called the police in. And then there's others that haven't said a word. They've just left the congregation, or they've just carried on going to the congregation and done nothing about it, or just swap congregations, usually is what happens. But so it's the ones we don't know about. I mean, my own daughter, my oldest daughter, she was molested by an elder, and he was in his 70s at the time. I didn't know for 14 years because she didn't tell me until I disassociated, But anyway, getting back to your wife, you said that you was gonna, you had a job not to leave and what have you. I guess you felt did you feel a little bit betrayed because she didn't, she knew what you'd been through. She knew that your past history. She knew how you felt about the paedophiles, etc. I mean, did you feel that, she was somehow choosing sides?
Yes, I did. I felt betrayed and not helped. And here, and if anybody knows me, my wife, and she took the side. And see, you have to separate the organization from God. If you keep saying God is the organization, that's what's jacking this all up. I said, it's not. If we believe in, that's fine. You believe in God. I'm talking about the men that are doing these rules. These 8 men sign off on every single piece of paper. And it's their rules, their policies, their culture that's done this. And you're not going to follow me. And then to find out that, you know, your husband went through the same thing. They're doing this. The orphanage did the same thing to me. What the organization's doing now to children.
Yeah, and I presume you. Sorry for interrupting, but so you had you've told her this a few times. I'm imagining it's not just the once or whatever. Have you had a heart to heart and really told her how you feel?
Yeah, but it doesn't even get to that point. It gets into an argument, and it can get really, you know, bad with, you know, yelling at each other, and I don't want to see her hurt. It cries. It bothers me. So I felt the only way to do is just I got to get away. But it was tough because I wanted to be with my family. I wanted to be with her. It was just tough. I couldn't, and I tried everything. Baby, please. And the conversation will go well, and then when there's stuff that comes, like they say, the truth hurts. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear anymore. That's fake. It's fake news. You know, she sounded like the Trump era. You know, everything's fake, and you know that's fake, and they don't do that. No, I don't believe that. I was dealing with that, and then I said, "My God, you know my situation. You know this came up. You know,
yeah, you must have felt a bit like you'd lost your wife. You know, lost the person that you knew before, the person you saw. I mean, I know you still love her, but you know that person that you fell in love with. Do you feel that she's now gone because of the brainwashing?
Yes. She's gone. I mean, our relationship is good because we have, you know, we're getting new grandkids. One's probably going to come soon. And what it is we do the best we can now. You know, I have to do the best. I got to stay away from triggers. That's the whole thing. I love her. I just made her dinner. What I'm doing now is like, we try not to talk about this, and, you know, and that's what can I do at 62? I mean, I go fishing. I like to, you know, target shoot, and that's it. And be with my grandkids. This is when it should be. My wife and I going on. We should be going places and seeing the world. That's not.
Yeah. So you feel like she's been taken away, which in a sense she has, hasn't she? Because she's become an object of, not an object, but instilled into the religion so much that, you know, all that really is now just a pipe dream. I guess you're thinking.
No, that's exactly right. This is it. I did everything I could, even trying to leave a seat that it won't work. No, it's nothing's gonna work. That's that. I mean, she's in it, and until maybe something hit her on the head, or she sees something, maybe something happens to a grandson. I said, what about my grandson? You know, he could be sitting next to a pedophile. You would never know. You don't know that. Look at the ones that are getting arrested now. They get a year.
Absolutely loads of them at the minute. Yeah, they're coming out of the woodwork thick and fast at the second, it seems.
And then to see your leader, one of your leaders, get up and say, we don't have a pedophile. Boy, they're talking. And I got, and these are just 20, like you said, there's 3,000. Because these are the ones I can actually, like, if I had to, they couldn't sue me for these. This is all true.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I mean, there's plenty out there that's in the papers. It's on the TV. You know, they can't deny it. It's, you know, it's right there. Sorry, carry on.
And what they say is that I'm reading all their charges, right? And you know, they taken them out in field service. This one elder, and taking her to the home and was literally raping her.
Mm.
And then you got one that was molested an 18-month-old baby. These are sick.
I know, absolutely.
This is not you. And you're turning up. This is your God that's doing. You believe that this is a God that would allow this?
Well, it's not, is it? Because we know God, what God says about that sort of thing, don't we? You know, if you harm one of these, it'd be better to have a millstone around your neck and thrown in the sea. You know, and he says, you know, do not do not let the children, you know, do not move the children away. Basically, well, I can't remember exactly how it's worded now, but you know what I mean. So it's not in the Bible, is it? This is a thing. But carry on anyway. I'm interested. So you've, yeah, carry on. Sorry.
Yeah. So so what happens with me now is that my therapist is helping with this. It's triggers, right? But if you want to get away from it, you have to lessen the triggers, right? So what I do is I try not to be involved. And I don't think if you're going to a meeting, you're going to like a cookout with the fun, you know, that's fine. I'm going to be here. We're trying to lessen the triggers. But what happens is I'm so involved as an activist in terms of the CSA, the child sexual abuse part of it, is that when I hear a news report, like for instance, Pennsylvania is 3 miles from us up the street. When I hear that the Attorney General, he's the governor now, he got elected as governor, that he just put 4 people in jail for molesting kids years ago, and they just happened. That was a trigger. So what I do is politely, I'm trying to get my family to see this. So politely and nicely, I say, hey, you guys, did you hear about that? And I get comments like this from my family. Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, it's terrible, isn't it? Yeah, it's absolutely terrible.
Well, I get it happened. But when the Catholics were doing it, see, you think that's why I don't want to join that. You want me to be a Catholic? Look what they're doing. Look at those priests. And then I said to myself, but the Pope admitted, apologized, and then did something, and most of them went to jail. The Jehovah's Witness organization has never even admitted.
No, I mean the thing is they didn't want to be sort of part of the what's it called, Reformation for the sexual abuse victims that the worldwide religions have put together, but they didn't want to be part of it. I mean, it was, they just completely ignored it. I mean, I think there was really a big issue about it, and this is why a lot of countries are onto them.
Yes, and it's going to end here in the United States. And I love Robert Shapiro, and now he's the governor. He put in a statement that he's going to go after the men, the leaders that put implemented these things in place, and then he's going to get them for you knew or should have known. You can't tell me, and that's why they want that database. And I'm telling you right now, it won't be long either. We're going to have a whistleblower. I really believe this in my heart. Good always prevails over bad. In anything, right? You look at Trump. He thought he was going to be another president. That guy might go to jail. 3 years ago, you wouldn't think anything. He said he could shoot a guy in the middle of Wall Street with a sandwich in his hand and kill him, and he wouldn't not happen to him. These men, and they're so. Roland, what I found is that when I look at them and talk, they believe themselves, and they got so much confidence that the people that are listening, they could say anything, and it's proven. Because when a man gets up there and says to his audience, so to his congregants, that babies are enemies of God,
Stephen Lett,
half the organization should have left. They don't.
No.
In fact, they have no answer for that. There's no answer for that.
No, you see, the thing is, also there, quite right there, when Stephen Lett said that about, babies, children being enemies of God, right there, he's putting a subliminal message into all the drones' minds around the world. Oh, children aren't to be trusted. So therefore, if we get a sexual allegation from one of them, that an elders or whoever has abused them, they're liars, and we know they're liars because they're enemies of God. Stephen Lett said so,
Yeah, and then for it to be the ones that are talking about the kids, they don't even have kids. In every talk, I've dissected these talks. it's and children want to play. He's so negative. And then you throw in the Sophia videos that every Sophia video, it ends up in depression.
Yeah. I mean, and your grandchildren are growing up in that, aren't they?
Exactly. They're gonna.
And that really must. I mean, that really must worry you, because I mean, I know my grandchildren are the light of my life, and to think that they would be in that organisation. Thankfully, they're not. But but to think if they were, I'd be worried sick. Knowing what I know about all the paedophiles, you must feel even worse in some respects.
Yeah. How would you feel if one time I said, I adore my grandson. He kept everything together. He was the glue. What if something, God forbid, happens to my daughter and her husband, and I said, oh no, I'll take him in a heartbeat. They said, you're not going to get him because he's going to go to a Jehovah's Witness family. You get it?
Yeah.
That and I don't say anything, but it crushes me, and it's everything. It's just crushing, and to not see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Nobody would take care. Nobody even takes care. Nobody would take care of my grandson more than me. They just don't. They won't.
No.
You got to watch it. Yeah, Roland. This is. I cope doing this. So me talking with you is a help. So you're not crying. I'm giving you all this. I want to let you know, and this is how I deal with it. I deal with it with being an activist, and I'm going to go to that rally on the 31st of October of this year.
Yeah.
I could drive there. It's right here.
Yeah, good.
When I retired as a police. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, that's good. Yeah, I'm just going to hold it there. I'm just going to see if there's anybody on the line that wants to make any comments to anything you've said so far.
Sure.
Just bear with me, but I'll bring you back in a minute. Right, sorry, who's that?
It's Pixie.
Oh, hi, Pixie. All right, sorry, carry on, Pixie.
And if your grandchildren get into the math and science classes in the high schools, that's where the scholarships are.
Yeah, I know.
Tell us more about the rally.
So it's going to be on the 31st, which is Halloween. It just happens to be the day that I think Rutherford died or something, that date, or there's a couple, but the theme of the rally is going to be free in 2023. And it's going to be
wonderful.
Yep. And I'm definitely going. It's going to be, so it's not just us, but we're the main, the people that are running. It's someone else that's running, because I got this news, and the more participation, the better, because we know things only get seen in numbers, right? We want to make sure that we go in numbers and have people really see what's going on. We have to show people, and the United States is getting wind of what the organization's doing in terms of the worldly laws, the pennant, whatever they call that pennant rule, where everything's private. They're done with that, because nothing's private. You're giving a couple fishes 3 men, then you're going to give it to the CEO, then the CEO takes it up to the headquarters. That's more than private. This is not like So, but you get that out. This rally is going to be something. I'm going to be there, bells and whistles.
Sounds great. Absolutely great. Anybody else?
More the merrier.
Anybody else?
Maybe we can all sing all along the Watchtower on the mall, have thousands of people singing it.
That would be great, wouldn't it, Pixie?
It would.
Hello, Albert?
Yes.
Hi.
Hey,
I wanted to ask if it's okay with Roland.
Yeah, absolutely. Carry on.
All the things. Okay, thank you, Roland. I wanted to ask you, what of all the things that you've been talking about, what would you like your fellow Jehovah's Witnesses to know about your experience?
Oh, great question.
That in terms of everything that happened,
right. What kind of advice can you give, or what do you want people to know the most, or what are Jehovah's Witnesses not aware of that things that you
Good,
found
good.
out? Something to that effect.
Sure. Don't give up. Don't do the situation that happened in Colorado. Don't sit there, and you're going to be strong, and you're still going to love your family. You're still going to respect them. But if you do it the right way, you're going to get results. Yes, it hurts. I'm hurting. I'm hurting now, but I'm not going to give up. You know, there's no way. Even if this happens after I pass away, but they're going to be, like I always said to Roland, good human people that they're just human beings and have feelings. They're gonna go down. There's no way this can stay. There's no way this can keep going. And it may not be our lifetime, but I'll be damned if I'm gonna sit there and tell my wife, okay, listen, let's commit suicide. I'll shoot you, and then I'm gonna shoot myself, and then hope maybe we'll make it in the new system. No. Call us, talk to us, have a community. That's what we do, right? We have a community. I love this stuff. I you know, when Rick said, "Come on, Albert," I was in tears. He said, "Come tell your story." I mean, no one hears my stories. No one knows. And I just said, don't give up. Be strong and don't change. Be who you are. That's the advice. Be who you are and know that you have support. And that's what I got.
Yeah, I would just say to you, Albert, as well, you were saying that you're hurting quite badly at the minute. Would you say that hurt is what you use to drive you to change things? I mean, I know I would say for me, it's, you know, I hurt a bit as well, and I use that hurt to drive, you know, towards getting rid of the Watchtower and to speak out at every opportunity. Do you think that's what's driving you?
Yes, yes, and because too, like I said before, what I'm supposed to be doing now is not happening. Right, I'm supposed to be, you know, going to places and it's just me and my wife, and we did our job. We have good kids. They're good, heart, beautiful kids, grandkids. Now it's our turn, but it's not now. It's not. This is my life, and so if it's going to be my life, then I'm going to make sure that I'm going to be vocal about it and say that this shouldn't be. This shouldn't be like this. But yeah, you're correct in saying that.
Yeah. Go ahead, caller.
And add to what I.
Sorry.
Yeah, this is Gilbert. Hey, I just wanted to tell you. You know, I've been receiving phone calls since 2015, and the great majority of them are exactly on the same topic of what you're going through. And I've coined it. I did a video and I talked about how this is called spiritual adultery and how Watchtower gets involved in people's marriages. It's always the same story. It's basically when a woman or a man listens, when a married person, right, listens to an outside force instead of listening to the partner. So Jesus addressed this issue because he says, if you're not working with him, you're scattering, you're wasting your time, really. So if you're married, you're wasting your time listening to religious leaders when you should be listening to your spouse, because that's what working with Jesus is. God says the two shall be one. So that's the issue here at heart. The issue here is that in order for a marriage to work, both parties need to become one. And when you allow an outside influence, that's called spiritual adultery. You're letting an outside force get involved in something that should only be reserved for those two people. And the last thing I say to people is, if you're a Jehovah's Witness and your spouse is a Catholic, let's say something like that, Jesus addressed this. He says it's better for each one of you to chop off your eye. Get rid of the Jehovah's Witness church, get rid of the Catholic church, and both of you go and do something else that you can both agree on. But instead, this is what happens with the Jehovah's Witness. In this case, it's the female. She'd rather keep her eye and lose everything than just say, you know what, honey, I'll get rid of my beliefs, you get rid of yours, and we together as one will create our own environment. And correct. And I think it's those simple teachings of Jesus that Watchtower throws away because he gets rid of the simplicity. They actually changed the Bible verse in the New World Translation. They got rid of the word simplicity of Christ because they don't want people to think that it's that simple. It is very simple. And it's that adulterous relationship
No, that's all. You're absolutely. You're right. No, you did right. You said right. And here's the thing: we're not stopping you. If you want to read the Bible with me and you want to read, let's do it. Me and you. Let's go on vacation. We could do it on a beach. Why do you have to follow men that's already told? They've done everything that they taught me what not to do or what to do. They're doing, right? Don't follow men. Well, we're following you. Don't, if you see something that if they take a scripture and they move it, I got 35 scriptures. And with the help of Lloyd, I listened because he has this one doctored series, but I found 35 scriptures that were either words taken out or put in. And you see yourself, so now I'm worshiping the writing department. It's their Bible. There's no more God involved in this. There's nothing involved. This is all gone. And you're absolutely right. You got to know, my wife got to know that I love her more than anything in the world. And I would never try to do anything to hurt her. You want us to do love God and Jehovah, do that. But you don't need them. You can, your friends are going to say, well, if you don't join, we're going to leave. But then they're not your friends. Are they really? It doesn't make sense to me.
You see, this is what they do. This is what I want the viewers to know, is the fact that this is how they get into people's minds. They and how they split people, and even marriages. That even if the marriage doesn't split up, it does something to it. If one is a believer and one's not a believer, it just takes away the person that you once knew, because the JW programming gets into their head. And it's the same with sons, daughters, grandchildren. They split everybody up, and they do it slowly. They're narcissistic. They separate you from the ones you love, and they do it slowly. And they'll say, they'll put doubts into your head about these people, and this is the danger of them. People don't realise just how dangerous they are, and this is why we call them out. And I thank you, Albert, for you being on here, just pointing all these things out and telling people your story, because this is the sort of thing that people need to hear. PMOs, ones that are thinking about coming out, the ones that are thinking about going in, even having Bible studies, run away, go the other way, because you will not be happy. And if you've got children, there'll probably be, paedophiles around. They could get sexually abused, quite a high chance. So this is a thing that people need to hear, and I thank you, Albert. But carry on with what you was going to say.
No, and it's true. And here's another thing: they about that. They love us, and we love you, dear brothers. It's just you're breaking up families, because and here's what happens. Here's how they get it. 90% of what I'm going through, the relationship would have been busted. The person who left, even if it's the person that's still in the truth, would have got this fellowship and back in 6 months and marrying a pioneer sister or pioneer brother, because that's what. So the marriages are even made up. I can see. I go to gatherings. These people don't even look at each other. You could just tell. You could just tell. There's no feelings. Oh, he's a Bethelite. That's what I'm marrying. And there's nothing. The intimacy's nothing's there. There's nothing there.
No, I totally agree. I've seen this myself. I mean, I've seen, the girls get married so young because obviously the forbid them to have, any relationship with any boy, with outside the marriage thing, which is, all right, fair enough with the Christian group, well, a so-called Christian group, which they're not, but in a religion, you can understand that to a certain extent. But the point is, these young ones, I mean, they just grab the first bit because they know otherwise, that they're not, and at that age they are sexually active, and they need to be young people, and so they grab the first person that comes along, usually somebody that's looking like they're going to be an elder ministerial servant, maybe a Bethelite, whatever, and like you say, a lot of it is sort of like a popularity thing, or marrying somebody, oh, look at me, I've just married a ministerial servant, or I've just married an elder, or I've just married somebody at Bethel. Even, you know, that they even do it in grades. You know, if you're a Bethelite, you're better than the ones who are elders and ministerial servants. You know, that's how people view it in the congregation. I mean, you know.
You're right. That's exactly what they do. And so what it is you get something that's really not, I guess you could learn a lesson, but it's not natural. You didn't do this. This wasn't a natural thing. You know, it was more like you're forced to because this person is that. Because what happens is when they get a situation like mine where the person does leave, you know, do break up, they know one of them is going to commit. Someone's going to have, you know, outside the marriage, right? And it's usually the person that leaves. But it could be even when it stays. But what happens is they come back because they love you. No, where you be back? We'll bring you back. We know. And then they end up marrying. And you know, so what was the intent? Was the intent to do that anyway? Was that the intent?
Makes you wonder.
Fooling. Right. So it doesn't matter. And here's my wife tells me, baby, they love you. They I said, yeah, but why they can't talk to me? There's nothing, not one bad thing they could say that I've done or did that I never even was public, whatever they call that. They had me in their office, in their tribunal, 12 times, jumping up. One elder turning red, like he was ready to punch. Like, what is this? You don't need to tell me this is not. You guys, this is crazy, man. You guys are nuts. You guys are nuts. I said, no, this is enough. I said, what are you gonna do? You want to hit me? What do you want to do?
Yeah.
Then it's just as bad. I go to talk to the. This is why I know it's you. I've been in organizations my whole life. I know the steps to take, your chain of command. But even when you talk to somebody, they're gonna see what's wrong. They're gonna come up to you. They're gonna sit. You know, it's like when you do an interrogation, right? You don't sit. You want to get a subject to give you a suspect to give you some information. You're not gonna have them sit across the hall and you talking to them. What I did was I sat at the table with them because I really wanted to tell what's going on with me. Why am I being treated like this? So you know, until you know, go to the. I go in this room, and I'm talking with him. He takes a chair and he backs it up and he puts it all the way against the wall. What do you want? What are you here for? You what? I heard you only do 19 hours a month. You're a pioneer. What's up with that? I said, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me, man. I left. I said, this is crazy, man. And you nothing happens. Albert, you're the one that needs help. It's you. Or God's trying to refine you. It's bullshit. I'm tired of this refining crap. You're just not refining. They call it unity. It's uniformity.
Yeah, it is. It's uniformity. And I mean, what they do, they just bully you, and they make you feel little. They belittle you. You know, they drag you down, and before you know it, you've got absolutely no confidence if you let them do it to you.
And when I went to this congregation, rather than being that congregation, I looked like I was looking at The Walking Dead. These men they were in a trance. And then I watched how all the elders were doing the mics and what the heck. And one brother, he had one leg. He was from Russia, had one leg, and he was doing the mic. And then so I go in and I say, yo, man, come on, I can help. Let me help. I'm giving myself up. Nah, you just sit over there, you Yankee. We'll take you. Just sit over there. No, we'll let you know when we're ready. I have a permit to carry a gun. but I couldn't carry a mic. You understand? No. I had the responsibility that if anything happened, that I could be in jail if I did the wrong thing with that gun. But I had enough. They thought of me enough in the world that okay, he's a good guy. He's never been around, all this other stuff. But I wasn't exemplary enough to carry a microphone.
Yeah, I know. That's how they are. That's how they are. They won't even let women carry microphones in the congregation. I mean, that's, you know, that's what they think of it. Oh, you know, if you carry a mic, you must be special, you know. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's absolutely nonsense.
They're left. Right. What's left? You can't. What else can you do? You like what can they give you? It's not like there's a whole bunch of stuff, right? They say, oh, apply for Bethel. That's crazy. You have to fill out an application. You got to give a blood sample, stool sample. You got to not listen to this music. You got to have all this other stuff. What the? Nothing they do makes sense. And you know what they call this? I looked this up. Maybe if I'm not looking, it's cognitive dissonance. I don't know if I'll say it right. That's what it is. They can't see. The blinders are there. No, I don't believe. I believe everything is right here. They're doing right, and right in front of you, you could see that this is not right. People shouldn't be depressed. Everybody's on medication. They're all depressed. Marriages are not even working. They're in loveless marriages. Why would they have a watchtower on that? Because they know half the marriages are in a loveless marriage.
Yeah, I know. This is what they do, though. This is what they do. They get together. They've got no love for each other whatsoever. They just think they need a partner. It looks good in the congregation if you're married. You know, you normally get on a bit better if you're married. You know, especially if your husband turns out to be an elder or a ministerial servant. You know, those marriages are sort of almost blessed by the elders. Whereas people that are single, particularly single mothers and single fathers and people that don't agree with them, you know, they're just like, you know, pushed to one side. You know, there's like a click to them. You know.
Yeah, they're below. They rather have roommates than family.
Yeah.
I put that in a statement. I thought that was so interesting. They rather have roommates.
Yeah. I'm just going to stop you there a minute because it's now 1:45. I'm just going to see if anybody else is online, just wants to chip in. Anything you want to say that we've talked about so far or anything else within reason? Nobody there? No, it looks like it's just us then. Right. Yeah. So, I mean, anyway, it's, I mean, they're just it's absolute madness. And I mean, you know, the stupid rules they make as well, you know, I mean, the poor kids miss out on the birthdays, they miss out on Christmas. You know, we was discussing over Christmas what the kids miss out on. And, you know, none of it's necessary. And the thing is, are the governing body missing out? You know, Tony Morris isn't missing out on his whiskey, is he? You know, they're not missing out on the gold jewelry and the Armani suits or whatever they are, Savile Row. Hello, carry on.
And they're all overweight. They're eating good. They don't even know. Realize that, you know, growing up in the hood, you food. I mean, come on. You know, so when they have a birthday party at a school, and they're giving out a cupcake, that might be the only thing that kid has to eat. But instead, he's got to think that if I eat this birthday cupcake, I'm going to die.
I know.
I'll die. So, you know, nothing makes sense. It's too, there's too much, it's culty, you know, and, you know, I was looking up the word cult, and they fit the bill. You know, the only one thing at the end which is it may be, but they fit it. They fit it to the T.
Yeah. Sorry, is there somebody else that wants to talk?
I do.
All right, carry on, caller.
I want to say hello from Southwest Florida.
Oh, hello there. What's your name, caller?
Oh, Robert Jones.
Oh, no, the lady. What was the lady? Sorry, lady first.
No, I'm actually a guy, really.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Right, carry on anyway. What's your name? Sorry.
I know, I get that a lot.
Oh, I do apologise. I can't hear very well anyway. Anyway, sorry, carry on then.
I'm trying to keep anonymous because
all right, that's fine. That's fine then, caller. Just carry on with your comment then. That's fine.
What I'm trying to say is I agree with a lot of the things you said. For people with autism, it's most difficult because I grew up in people who form cliques and stuff where I live,
Hmm.
In the sign language deaf community, they tend to often group together, and oftentimes I feel left out because I don't have anything in common with the fellow peers in the JW community.
Right. I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously there's going to be certain groups that will be together. I mean, I guess the deaf obviously congregations and stuff, they're obviously going to be like a community together because they've obviously got the same issues. But what I meant by a clique really was, that you can be in a congregation, but if your face doesn't fit, you sort of tend to get pushed to one side. Is that what you're saying is happening to you?
I've had issues like that, wanting to fit in, but realizing I'm far different, realizing that I don't match the same standards as the other witnesses and whatnot. I tend to be looked at as weird and mentally disabled too.
Well, the thing is, you're not weird, and the thing is, if they're looking at you like that, well, that just shows basically their character. And obviously, if you're having doubts and stuff, and you feel that you don't fit, that's because you really don't fit. Because it's them that's got the problem, not you. It's them. And if anybody else would like to chime in here, because I mean, this happens to a lot of people, and they seem to be particularly bad with people who have got any issues, whether it's autism or any mentally disabled sort of issues. Sorry, carry on.
You're a right person. You ask a question. It's been dumbed down so much. I don't know what it is, except maybe it's for the C students. The Bible study course is second grade level reading now. There's a part of me that didn't fit in as I matured and got more educated. So it's not you, Guy.
Is that you?
Don't blame yourself. And the kangaroo courts are not qualified to judge you. I lived with a wonderful man who was a DC attorney, and I said, well, at your age, why don't you be a judge? He says, no, I'm an attorney, but I'm not qualified to be a judge. So if a five-star attorney says that, a window washer is not qualified to judge any of us in a kangaroo court.
No, absolutely not. No. Sorry, was there somebody else on there as well?
That's why we have to have mental health therapists and behavior therapists, because a person with autism like myself sees social norms different from JW point of view and the rest of the world. Why a certain behavior may not be normal from out in the world is somehow normal to the JW culture.
I tell you something, Guy, and you probably know it if you're an OSPE. The bright people are brutally honest. Some of us are so bright, it's very hard for us to lie. So when we see the emperor with no clothes, we call it. And that's exactly what they don't want.
Yeah. People may think I'm making stuff up to try to get out of a situation that I know you're not going to. Like volunteering at the hospital.
That sounds good.
Volunteering at the hospital, I personally don't like the idea, because I don't even know how to save a life.
Well, sometimes volunteers at the hospital just go in and have magazines for people and ask them how they're doing and help them with their teacup. And it's just simple things, but when you're in a hospital, people really appreciate it. So if nursing or even being a CNA, it would just be cheering everybody up and helping.
Yeah, I'd agree with you also. And I think you're doing, whatever you do, you'll be useful. You just need to find something that is not, something that's going to stress you, just something that's going to help other people maybe. And everyone could be useful doing little things like that. We don't have to be like doctors. We don't have to be astronauts or whatever. Whatever we do with, that's what we're good at, and that's what we should do. Anyway, sorry, I'm going to have to stop you there. Sorry.
I'm against that because, one, I'm not legally certified. Two, I am not at all professional. Three, I need to be licensed. And four, if I teach sign language without a certificate or license, that's considered.
Yeah. Anyway.
Hey, we want to move on here, Roland. We've got Guy. That's good. Well, yeah, that's fine. We're coming up here. We only got about 10 minutes left. But there was another man that wanted to come in here, Roland. So.
Yeah, can you bring him in then?
Go ahead. We had another man want to speak up. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, this is Sherlock Holmes again. Remember Sherlock Jones? I'm sorry, that's Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Jones. Remember, I was on a while back with regards to the society I used to work for the IRS.
Oh, yeah.
I was telling you guys about the time cards.
Yeah.
Remember we discussed that a while back. Okay, here's and I told you guys about the fact that they used my mother's insurance and took a payment on my mother's insurance payment, which was $90,000. But what I also wanted to tell you guys is this. Another thing is this. The issue that I have with Jehovah's Witnesses is based on the fact that when you have a society with the elders, the ministerial servant, and the circuit overseer, and then you have the publishers. Now, the Bible says that God doesn't look at no titles. So what they're basically doing is they're creating a title, and they're making it as if the elders are. It's almost like how you're dealing in politics, like the way the Democrats and the Republicans. Like, for instance, if an elder does something wrong, it's like they basically sweeping it under the rug as if it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
If a person is a ministerial servant, and what they're doing in the congregations is this: they're picking and choosing who they want to be a ministerial servant. It's almost like it's a job.
Yeah.
It's a corporation. And then what they're basically doing is making everybody feel like, well, like for instance, like, and I don't want to, I know you guys got a little of time, but let me just say this really quick. This is so important.
Yeah, carry on.
When the circuit overseer comes, you guys ever notice that when the circuit overseer comes, they only invite a certain few people? The pioneers get together, then you have the elders and the minister, and then certain privileged folks that they feel that's okay. So what they're doing is they're creating this own distinction of who they like and who they don't like,
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I grew up in the Los Angeles area. My mother was a regular pioneer, and like I was telling you guys previously, when my mother passed away, one of the elders allowed my uncle, who tried to sue me in probate court, to dictate my mother's memorial service. And then I called the elder to tell him that I didn't approve of that. He went ahead and allowed it to happen. They're fraud.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Albert, you still there? Alfred, sorry.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Yeah. I'm just we'll go. Is there anything else you'd like to say, Alfred? Is there anything if you said last week about your wife, you was hoping that she might listen. If she does listen, or if she's listening in, what would you like to say to her now? Just before we'll wrap it up with that.
Okay, that I love her, and I'll always love her, and that one day I hope that she could see that all this is doing is just putting a strain in a relationship and family unit. It'll never be the same unless she gets out of that organization. It'll just never be the same. And that I still love my family. I'm not going to give up on them.
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. I really do appreciate it, sir. It's been wonderful talking to you, and I hope we can talk again soon.
Yeah.
Okay, have a good night.
Yeah, have a good night, everybody. Can we wrap it up there then, Rick? Are we?
Oh, yeah, we're just about ready to wrap it up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll call it a night there. Then I'll just say goodbye to and good night to everybody. It's getting late here, so I may listen in for a little bit, Rick, but I'll say good night now, just in case I go to bed soon. It's nearly midnight here, so you know.
All righty. Well, that's good. Well, that's Roland coming in from the United Kingdom. We always appreciate Roland coming in. Yeah, we've got a good program coming up here next. We got JW World News. That's going to be coming up next right here on the 6th screen. So we're looking forward to that program. And we ended a little bit earlier here, but that's great. We're going to be able to have more people coming in on our other programs tonight. We do have a really special program coming up tonight that you're really going to like. It's dealing with suicide. And, you know, a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses, as they leave the Watchtower, and even many when they're still active witnesses, they commit suicide. And we have Joe and Fran coming on tonight. They have a program. They're going to be talking all about it and how a Jehovah's Witness or an ex-witness can prevent themselves from doing that. It's a terrible practice. It's a terrible thing for a person to do. And Joe and Fran will be discussing that tonight on the program at 9:30. So by all means, you want to come in on that. I think you'll find it very, very fascinating. So we're looking forward to that program tonight. And of course, at 11 o'clock, we have got Gail coming in from Houston, Texas. She's a former Jehovah's Witness, and she's going to be bringing us right up to speed on her program After the Storm. And then later on tonight, around 12:30. A little after midnight, we have got Apostle Babe coming on. She's your favorite apostate. So by all means, stay tuned for the 6 screens all night long into the wee hours of the morning. So we're going to end this program here right now. This was Roland's program, Returning to Light. So we want to thank everyone that came in, all those that commented. We appreciate your comments. So we're going to end the broadcast here, but stay with us on YouTube. We have JW World News. That's coming up next. So don't go anywhere. Let me just make sure all of our clips are in place. And so we're ready to roll here on the 6 screens Telenetwork. Stay with us.